Now, queues snaking around Britain's airports have become all too familiar over the past few days, but should every passenger face the same security check? Well, the former head of the Metropolitan Police thinks not. Lord Stevens favours checking only those who fit a certain profile.
Now, this might be down to the colour of their skin, the way they're behaving, the people they're travelling with, or the items they're carrying. In a few moments, we'll debate whether that should be the way forward. But first, here's the response we found on the street.
It's kind of difficult choosing which people you profile, and it might come out appearing a bit prejudiced.
I think they should actually check everybody, because you can never be sure of what to expect.
If I get stopped and I see others going by, I'm going to think, well, hold on a second, are you picking on me? And people tend to take it a bit more personally.
I don't trust the profiles, and I think that people will slip through. They're not stupid, are they? So they're going to suss that out fairly quickly.
You know, all the terrorists are from the same, background. Now, we're not saying all Muslims are terrorists, but most of the terrorists are Muslim.
Well, could profiling lead to discrimination and worries of racism? David Hill from Red 24 Security Advice Company and Shami Chakrabarti from Liberty are both here. Good morning to both of you. Thank you very much for coming in. David Hill, to you first. Are you broadly supportive of this idea?
Well, let me say this, is that first of all, the Muslim community in Britain is a thriving community. The vast majority of the Muslim community are law-abiding, they are hard-working, they contribute positively, and they are peaceful people, in the same way that the large majority of the white population, exactly the same. What we are talking about is a small minority. And if we look at it from an organised crime point of view, you can say that the commodity in this case is the terrorist. Now, if we look over the last 10 to 13 years to see what's happened with the World Trade Center, the July the 7th, September the 11th, the Madrid bombings, in every case it has been a young Muslim, aged between 17 to 30, usually alone, good education or well-educated. These are just examples. And so rather than check everybody that's going through an airport, and we can see the chaos that causes, why don't we look at who is probably the enemy in this case, or the criminal, which is the terrorist, which fits that profile. Now, that might need to change, but at this moment in time, that's the profile that we would be looking at in the investigative agency.
Shami, what problems would you anticipate with profiling when it came to airport security?
I don't think that racial or even gender or age profiling is smart security. I sympathise with the member of the public who said, I don't trust the profiling. If we're dealing with a ruthless terror network, you do not telegraph a profile to Al-Qaeda and say we're now searching Asian or black-looking men, Brazilian, Latin-looking men, aged between 14 and 40. It's not smart, and it will alienate more people than it will catch terrorists.
How do you respond to the other voice we heard there, which is not all Muslims are terrorists, but the Islamic terrorists are Muslim, and therefore lots of people questioning, if you profiled along those lines, you would rule out families going on holiday to Malaga in August and look at those people who are more likely to be terrorists.
Well, even if you wanted to target Muslims, Islam is a religion, not a race. And Muslims come in all shapes and colours and sizes. So it's not even smart, even if you're prepared to alienate Muslims. This just isn't clever. Now, if on the other hand you subject everyone to a certain level of security and you target people who have odd travel patterns or who behave suspiciously, that is something that few people, I think, can be upset about.
Well, let's put that to David Hill, the idea that if you target certain individuals, the certain individuals who you're actually looking for are going to find a way around that. They're a good deal wiser than the security systems that we're talking about.
Well, of course they are, and they will adjust and they will change their tactics, and they probably do that regularly, as we've seen in relation to the pattern. But I think if we look, first of all, at the basic and most profound principle of the Human Rights Act is the right to life. Now, how do you balance the right to life against the devastation that could take place if one of these aircrafts was blasted out of the skies?
I don't think there's an argument about that. It's
so
whether this will actually achieve what you're aiming to achieve.
Yeah, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, at this moment in time, that the principal terrorists fit the profile that I've already mentioned. Now, that may well change, and it's obviously, if they thought that the investigative services, the security services, the police were looking for that type of profile, they could easily change it.
Okay, David Hill and Shami Chakrabarti,
Exactly.
I'm afraid there we must leave it. Thank you both very much
Thank you
indeed
both.
for joining
Very
us.
much for that. Now, coming up after 8:30, BBC News 24, of course, has the latest news from home and abroad.